This week on MLS Insider.
I didn't know what is going to happen to my future, not just a soccer player, but just as a person, just the way things were going, the war and the government, all that kind of stuff.
This is not a marketing trick. There's no marketing if we don't have a good team, if we don't deliver good football.
Lisi into the box, a header!
I was able to get a goal that helped us get into the playoffs.
Michael Bradley puts the Metro Stars up.
I'm Danny Mwanga, plays for the Colorado Rapids.
It's an honor and a privilege to call you a fellow citizen of the United States of America. This is now officially your country, your home to protect, to defend, and to serve through active and engaged citizenship.
I was born in Central Africa, in Congo. Soccer in Africa it's a religion. It's not just a sport. It's something that people live by. As kids growing up there, we go outside and play soccer with no shoes. And sometimes with not even a real soccer ball, you just grab a bunch of plastic bags, tape it together, just make it round, and start kicking it around. I try, not to talk about it as much, but we just left the house, went to work, and that was the last time I've seen it, so.
Here's a guy who was just a young kid. So he just lost his dad. His dad had disappeared. He was a civil servant. The problem was that when the anti-government movement went looking for revenge and were targeting with any connection. I don't even know now whether they've had closure, whether they know what happened.
To be honest, when I was back there, I didn't know what is going to happen to my future, not just a soccer player, but just as a person, just the way things were going, the war and the government, all that kind of stuff. You get to a point where the only thing you have is just to believe that things will get better.
They started to get death threats. It wasn't just the workers, it was going to be the extended family that would be targeted. And as the younger sibling, he was never told. And his mother decided that she would move them to live with family members, and she disappeared.
The last time I saw my mom was in January 2001. That was back in Congo when she left, and 5 years later, she brought the entire family. She had to sacrifice a lot. She would send money back home, like almost every month. We still talk on the phone once in a while. But it's still not the same thing, being next to your mom, especially after you just lost your dad, so.
Here's a young kid growing up in a difficult country that's going through this awful transition, and then she comes calling him.
The first thing I asked her was to buy me a soccer ball. So I picked up a soccer ball, I'll go to a park and, start kicking the ball with myself, and that's how I made friends. And at that time, I didn't even know English at all. So I would just make friends through the game. And soccer was basically the one thing that, just kept me going. It's almost like when I'm stepping on the soccer field with my friends, it doesn't matter, kicking or just playing the game. It's almost like we all forget, whatever is going on in our life, and we just enjoy ourselves doing that. Just going through everything that I went through kind of, just gave me a different perspective of life. Coming here was just, just a different thing. You see so many things, you got a lot of opportunities, you can get a chance to get a scholarship to go to school. and you can try to be a professional soccer player at the same time, which is not really familiar. You know, where I'm from, it's either that or the other way. Definitely being drafted #1 was, it's a day that, you know, I still remember today, you know, like it was yesterday. It was, you know, obviously a big step in my life. I actually can't say that today is probably the best day of my life. I want to say thank you to the few people that helped me to get where I am right now. My family, my mom and sisters. My mom, she's the main reason why I'm here. She worked really hard to keep the family together. I had a lot of friends back home. A lot of them were even, you know, better than I was, you know, at that age back there. And most of them, you know, didn't have a chance to come to the state, and some of them made bad decisions, you know, they made bad choices, and some of them lost their lives, and some of them are locked up in jail somewhere. And a few of them, nobody really knows what happened to them. So seeing those things, people that were around you, not being able to have the same opportunity as you, I think it just makes you embrace things. You know that this is an opportunity that not everybody, you know, gets it. So you have to make sure once it's right in front of you, you have to grab it by 2 hands.
And Danny Malonga, here's a drive that is into the back of the net.
I feel like I might be the younger one in the family, but you know, if I work hard and I stay focused, I can put myself in a position, you know, to help my family here or even my family back home. Being able to get a citizenship, I think it's another step to, you know, move me forward. I'm very grateful for this country, you know. I don't know what's gonna happen in my career if I wasn't here right now, if I was still back there. So this is a place where I came, you know, I had a lot of chances and I had a lot of opportunity to turn my life around. So like I said, I consider this place as home.
I'd like you all to raise your right hands and repeat after me. I hereby declare on oath.
I'm hereby declare on oath.
That I will support and defend.
That I'll support and defend.
The Constitution and the laws.
The Constitution and the laws.
Of the United States of America.
Of the United States of America.
So help me God.
So help me God.
You can rest your arms and be seated. Congratulations, you're now U.S. citizens. I'm pleased to welcome you as new citizens of the United States of America.
Coming up on MLS Insider.
We believe first, there is an opportunity for soccer in the US, standalone, that makes a lot of sense.
After the speaker's remarks, there will be a question and answer session. If you would like to ask a question during that time, simply press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad.
Thanks for taking some time for us. I'm here in the Commissioner's office with Commissioner Garber, Mr. Levine, and Ferran Soriano, the CEO of Manchester City. I'll turn it over to Don.
We have this unbelievably exciting announcement for the league, an exciting announcement for the world of global football, and that's that our 20th expansion team will be here in New York City. It will be called NYCFC. It will begin playing in 2015, and the team will be owned by Manchester City and the New York Yankees. So big transformational event, something that we're very excited about, an opportunity to continue to reach our goal, which is to be one of the top leagues in the world.
2-3 minutes each or whatever, and just ask whatever it is that you want of them, really, of what it means to each party. And
hey, folks.
Independent.
We believe first there is an opportunity for soccer, for football. I'm going to make this mistake all day. There's an opportunity for soccer in the US, standalone, that makes a lot of sense.
Are you thinking of things like New York City FC playing in Sky Blue?
New York City is going to have its own personality. It's going to be a team in its own.
So this is the interview that will go to ESPN and ABC News and everything else. So look at it that way, and international clients.
So it's all about, you know, Don goes and Ferran goes and Don goes. And
Our next question will go to Grant Wall with Sports Illustrated. Grant?
It was said that the first year would be played at an interim venue. Is Yankee Stadium capable of being that venue?
Yes, it is. We haven't made any decision, but it is a possibility.
Good call. Got some coffee going here, guys.
Let me ask you one quick question, if I can. Ferran.
Yeah.
When did you first encounter Ferran?
I met Ferran when he was the CEO of FC Barcelona, when I was running NFL Europe, and we had a team in Barcelona. We talked about a lot of different ways that we could work together. When Ferran came on board at Man City, we had gotten together and said, hey, you know, we should kind of reopen these discussions.
The world is global, and fans are global, and it's perfectly possible that a young guy living in New York watches the New York sports, but also the Premier League, and the other way around. So I think with what we're doing is bold, is different, is new. It's kind of the perfect situation for people like us who love soccer, who want to be in the US permanently. We don't want to come and go, we want to stay here. And the New York opportunity is also thrilling.
We're going to be supportive of them. I mean, they're the soccer experts, but we can add a lot, you know, through our brand, through knowing how to do business here in New York City.
We're about being here, staying here, being as American as we can, being as New Yorkers as we can. We needed somebody to lead this in New York, to be our director of football here. This is the first person that we need, the most important employee of the house. We ended up with somebody that is a New Yorker, understands New York football very well, not only played for the US national team, but was its captain, not only played in Europe, but played at Manchester City. So we're very, very proud to announce today Claudio Reyna as our Director of Football for New York City Football Club.
I'm from the local area, the New York, New Jersey area. And I was the weird kid on the playground who kicked the soccer ball around. I was one of 2 kids in the entire school that even knew the rules. To be the first employee of New York City FC is definitely an incredible honor and a privilege. My job in the beginning weeks, months, and probably year is to meet the local community, the local soccer community. I just want to be amongst the people of New York, go to every corner, meet all the people, and understand face to face that I'm here to listen to them. I also speak Spanish, so it's important that I'm in touch with that community. And then there'll be decisions that I have to make, you know, from hiring the coaches to bringing in the players. We're here to develop a good soccer team that the New York City community will be proud of.
This is not a marketing trick. There's no marketing if we don't have a good team, if we don't deliver good football. Now we have a team on the ground in New York working with very tight deadlines. So in more or less 18 months, we need to have a team, and we have 0 players, right? So it's a huge task. It's a huge task. It feels like tomorrow we'll be recruiting people, we'll have our people in England spending time here, I'll be spending time here personally to make sure that when we hit the ground or in April 2015, we have a competitive team.
Away by Barrett, Owens guard Moffitt, who stings a shot into the back of the net. second half of the season here. Moffitt takes another shot and it goes off the post and in. Good challenge there from Roselle.
Coming up on MLS Insider.
As an athlete, I'm drawn to players who know what it means to compete. I can remember in 1996 when the league first began, watching games on TV, going to RFK Stadium at the time to watch DC United games. I have great memories of the league, of watching some of the players that have come through and you know, watching everything grow. And my dad was the assistant coach at DC United. At a certain point then he moved to Chicago and was the coach of the Fire for a lot of years. And so the opportunity that I had to see everything up close and to be around training and to be at all the games, spend time with some of the players, was for an 8 or 9-year-old kid pretty special. Obviously, there was some incredibly talented foreign players on those teams, you know, guys like Marco Echeverri, Jaime Moreno in DC.
Jaime Moreno eludes the tackle.
Peter Novak, Lubos Kubik, Christos Stoichkov in Chicago. But as much as you could learn from those guys, you could learn just as much from some of the younger Americans in those teams. Guys like Chris Armas, Ante Razov, C.J. Brown. As a young guy, you tried to pay attention to who were the guys with good training habits, who knew what it was like to step on the field and give everything they had. I think those were important things for me to see. I was always around, whether it meant on a certain day, you know, running around and getting all the balls, whether it meant on a certain day when the guys were done cleaning shoes, hoping for a few guys to make a 2-on-2 or a 3-on-3. You know, I was up for anything. So no, I loved every chance that I got. You know, to see what it meant for these guys to be professionals, to see the way they went about everything, to see how when the moment became most important, you know, when the games became the biggest, that these guys had a way of you know, raising their level and raising the level of everybody around them. You know, I tried to take as much in as I could. I was 16 years old and signed the Project 40 contract with Major League Soccer. Got drafted by the Metro Stars. Chance to play for my dad, chance to play for the team in my hometown. And so for me, that was a huge thrill. Chance to be a professional, what I had always dreamed of. At the end of the season, we were fighting to get in the playoffs. And then I think the last game was against Chivas in Los Angeles.
Hendrickson heads it away. Lisi into the box, a header! Michael Bradley puts the Metro Stars up.
And you know, was able to get a goal that helped us get into the playoffs. And for a young player, that's an important thing, to be able to feel like when your team needed you, you were able to step up and contribute.
Looking a threat to gain here. Look at this run from Bradley. Real drive from the Roman man. Now then, Fabian Johnson, can he get this right? Cross the face of goal. And yes, it's Eltidoor again!
As an athlete, I'm drawn to players who know what it means to compete. Unless you've ever been on the inside of something, unless you've ever had the experience of spilling everything you have into something to try to improve yourself, improve the team that you're a part of, it's hard to talk about winning. Being able to watch that, you know, those were great experiences.
Coming up on MLS Insider.
Today's story is called Tony and the Jets. Step back with me to the magical year of 1994, when the USA hosted the World Cup. Welcome to MLS Storytime Theater. I'm your host, the world champion, Judah Friedlander. Today's story is called Tony and the Jets. Step back with me to the magical year of 1994 when the USA hosted the World Cup. One of the most beloved American players was our goalkeeper, Tony Meola, a man from New Jersey, a man with one of the best mullets in American soccer history. But in 1994, after the World Cup, there was no MLS. So what was an American soccer hero to do after the World Cup ended? NFL, the other football. Just a couple of weeks after bowing out of the World Cup, he showed up in Hempstead, New York, trying out for the New York Jets. At his tryout, Meola banged kickoffs into the end zone and even made his first field goal. The Jets offered him a signing bonus of $7,000. Now, $7,000 may not sound like a lot of money today, but let's be serious. It wasn't a lot of money back then either. Unfortunately for Tony, the Jets had also just signed Nick Lowery, who was the all-time most accurate kicker in the NFL. Tony's days were numbered. Tony's first mistake, in my opinion, was losing the mullet. Tony's teammates started calling him Captain Hook. Not a good nickname in a sport where you're supposed to kick it straight. Tony was waived before opening day. But don't be sad for Tony. In 1996, Tony finally got a league of his own when MLS opened for business. And in 2000, Tony hoisted the MLS Cup for the Kansas City Wizards, which by last count is one championship trophy more than the Jets have won since they let Tony go. Coincidence? Not sure, but it's a fact. Join me next time for MLS Storytime Theater.
On the next MLS Insider.
Young kids like a Diego Fagundes, his jump to MLS was a lot easier because he had this program in place.